Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to BWTM Sports. In this video, we'll be covering the form of Harry Kane, England qualifying for against Slovenia, beating Slovenia to qualify for the 2018 World Cup in Russia, and the English Fall Guys. Okay, so how am I going to start this? How am I going to set this up? If you're as old as me or older, you will have many painful memories when it comes to English football. You will have many painful memories if you're an English supporter of the English national team, of our team sensationally failing in tournaments for whatever reason, whether it be the fall guy, the guy that comes to the tournament after scoring many goals in the Premiership and then comes to the World Cup and can't score goals, or the guy we've been hyping up for the last 3 to 4 years to find out when the World Cup comes around, he's just not good enough, or the player that we thought that would score us 20 goals, block or defend for us well at a World Cup to discover he gets injured. It's the same old story of England. It never changes. And my example here is typical of English football at its best or at its worst, depending on how you look at it. The English media, potentially with football, seem to have a short memory. They tend to forget about all the inept performances. And England against Slovenia last night, I didn't watch the game, to be honest. I just saw it on my Twitter feed. And that's precisely my point. I'm fed up watching England play football because we're playing these tournaments with these qualifiers, which don't mean much, against lesser opposition. And then we build our hopes and dreams and aspirations based on our performances against inept teams that are not funded or don't take football as the number one priority, or haven't got the infrastructure like the English have, or some of the European teams around the world, or the South American teams. And when we beat them, it's something to celebrate. So the reason why England can't move forward are a number of reasons. Reason number one is, in my belief, is that they can't drop 1966. They think it's all over. It is now. When England beat West Germany 4-2 in 1966, 10 years before I was born, in fact. And since that time, every World Cup that comes around, you'll see Bobby Moore and all the rest get rolled out in terms of video footage, of black and white footage. They've tried to put it into colour as well. And we haven't moved on from that point of the same old farts in positions, talking about World Cups that they never won, and people who are experts at failure talking about World Cup and what to do to win a World Cup, and the same people in charge when it comes to football management. In terms of now, we've got Gareth Southgate, a person who lost in the World Cup, sensationally missed a penalty at one of the World Cups, and Southgate, with all due respect, is what I call a yes man, the kind of person that will just say yes and get on with the job, won't question authority, and certainly won't stand up for what he truly believes in, even if it means him losing his job. Sam Allardyce was a little different to that. Sam Allardyce, I felt, was an outspoken individual who'll speak his mind, and sometimes I wonder whether he was set up and why he was ousted from the England job so quickly. Those people who speak out and have their own mindsets, they don't last long. And it takes somebody of real big balls to take on the England job and do things the way they want to do it, because I can put my bottom dollar that the people that are instructing the England manager are people that have never won a World Cup if they're linked to England, or if they've won a World Cup, it was in 1966. So either way, they know how to win a World Cup in 1966, but not in 2017, 2018, or 2000 in the 2000s. So there's a problem there. So there's a lot of problems within English football. But one of the biggest problems in English football is how English players are overrated, overrated to the point where, you know, the ridiculous numbers it costs for them, to as players, in transfer markets, and for very little skill, a little bit of skill. So if you've got a guy who does something really okay, average, good, does something good for a game or a couple of games or even a season, he's a world beater. They've won no world, they won no Champions League. They haven't won the league with the team. They're just a couple of performances or consistency over a season of doing something good, doing what they're paid to do, makes them world class. And that's England. Any guy who does something decent is world class. But yet they've never played against the world's best, but they're world class. The best time to prove somebody's world class, of course, is at a World Cup or the Champions League, where you've got playing at least the elite of the Europeans. So I go on to say this: Harry Kane has been scoring goals this year for England, very much so. He's been doing for not England, for Tottenham. He's been on rare form, scoring loads of goals left, right, and centre. Will that last until the 2018 World Cup? Will Harry Kane get injured between now and 2018 World Cup? If he does make it to the World Cup, will he still be able to bang in those goals against top opposition? I don't know, but he's doing it at the moment in the league that he is in the Premiership, and he's doing it, you know, in the Champions League. I think they're playing Champions League or European football at the moment for Tottenham, and that's fine. He's scoring goals for Tottenham, and that's great. But then you see, this is where the English take it a bit too far, and the journalists take it they go a bit too far. They go overboard. Let's start comparing stats. Well, Cristiano Ronaldo, who's been World Player of the Year on a number of occasions, and although he hasn't won a World Cup himself, has won the Champions League, and he has contributed to winning the Champions League. So when you look at that, then you compare him to Harry Kane, who hasn't won a Champions League. Not sure if Tottenham will ever win a Champions League, not the current setup, when they've got guys like Real Madrid to compete against. It's going to be done by Munich and a lot. It's going to be difficult, but they're not saying they can't do it. They've got a better chance this season than Arsenal have, so I'll better keep quiet there, because obviously Arsenal are not playing Champions League, they're playing Europa football. So there's been progression for Tottenham in that sense. My point is this: whether it be Dele Alli, whether it be Harry Kane, whether it be Marcus Rashford, these guys are good players. I've not disputed they're not good players. But are they world class? Well, that's going to be debatable, and we'll find out at the World Cup. But I can guarantee you, one of those big names will be the target of abuse at the end of a World Cup, because somebody in those big names is going to mess up. Somebody in that World Cup in the England side is going to be found out to be less than world class. After the media has built them up and built them up and built them up, they'll blow at the World Cup. Wait and see, because every World Cup it happens. Do you remember Steven Gerrard? Oh, Gerrard's the man to lead England to World Cup glory. Yeah, all right. Back to back, I remember him giving away free kicks against France and allowed France to come back when they were 2-0 down, to come back with 2 Zidane free kicks. Remember that? Yes. Lampard. Lampard and Gerrard were 2 key players there. You know, Beckham getting sent off in a championship as well. The list goes on and on and on. And even, you know, there's an example. I have England attempts to cover over the cracks when it comes to English football. You remember when David Beckham scored that free kick against Greece that led England into the World Cup? They replay that so many times. What they don't replay is the amount of free kicks Beckham took before that. And it was like in the 90th minute or the 91st minute that he scored that goal after about 6 attempts on goal and missing free kicks. They don't show you that. And they don't tell you that England didn't play that well until that free kick from Beckham. Much like that goal that Harry Kane scored in the 93rd minute for England, and the 92nd minute he's done before, and the time before he scored in the 90th minute. It's not good enough. The England team are not playing good enough football, and they're not playing to a standard that's satisfactory, good enough to be going to a World Cup, patting on the back. We've qualified for the World Cup. That's not good enough. And I suspect when I go to work the Russia, again, the English will be full of little patting and oh yeah, we've got some world-class players. This is the generation that's going to work. Shut up. Shut up. We're not good enough. And once we accept as a footballing nation, we are not good enough. We're not a top 10 footballing nation, right, in the world. And we accept that and start to say, forget 1966. Let's get people on board who actually have won a World Cup, know how to win a World Cup, starting from our manager to the technical director to, you know, coaches, people who have won World Cups. Those are the sort of people that England need to be around. Sir Clive Woodward made a fantastic move for England and the rugby side. He said, forget this. We ain't winning World Cups. We need to go and find out from those. We need to watch those who win World Cups, what the formula is to win the World Cup. So England, why don't you study the way the Germans play? You know, why they always seem to be successful at World Cups, or the South American way. Why is England not successful? Because they're too damn arrogant and too ignorant. And they're too quick to build their players up, and they're not good enough, just not good enough. So while you sit there, you know, at the moment and look, oh, we're at the World Cup, we're going to the World Cup, and we look at our players playing day in, day out, be prepared for disappointment, be prepared for players to be injured, and be prepared for when you go to the World Cup to be disappointed yet again by players that are overrated and not good up, not up to standard. That is typical of the English football team, typical of the English mentality in terms of standards. And if we just lowered our standards a bit and made expectations a little bit higher, then everyone will try a little bit harder. And you never know, by trying a little bit harder and setting standards a little bit higher, we may just one day be serious contenders for a World Cup. While we continue to fantasize about comparing Harry Kane, who's had a decent season so far and has scored a lot of goals, well done, Harry Kane, and comparing him to Cristiano Ronaldo, who playing totally two different positions and are universes apart in terms of achievements. You know, I think we need to just take a chill pill, stop listening to the gas man gassing up people's heads, and just say, you know what? We're a decent side, and we're going to try our best with the players we've got. Let's take that approach rather than we're going to win the World Cup in Russia, because we ain't winning shit. Thank you very much for listening. Don't forget to rate, subscribe, and leave your comments. I'm out of here. Take care.